You're on Facebook, little calf. Grazing is more important. So here we have a billion sunrises to make up for all the clouds this morning. To know where to find the sunrises is good in life. And that's what today's readings are very much about. To find a sunrise in clouds, Isaiah is in a time of exile, and he's talking about the return, about people coming from afar, about wounds being healed. Oh, this cow has a very full udder. I wonder where her calf is. I need to watch where I walk because I just see... Do you want to see a fresh cow patty? Are you emotionally ready? Just right here. So I just noticed a half an inch on time and space. And here's the making of another cow patty. Just for all you city people that don't know about this part in nature and the smell of it. Isn't that lovely? And this little guy having breakfast. The cycle of life here, you know. I saw a little dead field mouse on the way up on the path. Well, it was a field mouse, it was very big, but it was too small to be a field rat, I think. So there's birth here, new calves, new life. Let's go over and check out these ones here. There's a small calf over here. Those horns are pretty serious. Not sure why they missed them, because they're also a problem for the neighboring cows. But of course, they're out in the free. Dehorning cattle became very frequent when they were being herded in, kept in with zero grazing, so, or in winter time with silage, to get their head through the barriers. So the prophecy today of coming from afar, coming out of the prisons, let's say there's three different levels. Coming out of the prisons, out of the dungeons, and that's a big thing, and somebody from the family could be in a dungeon in the city where they're living, or not too far away, but there's very little contact because they're in the dungeon, they're in prison. And then the ones coming from afar. You think of all the immigrants going back to Iraq, going back to Afghanistan, going back to Syria. Syria's right over there in front of us. Lebanon, north of those mountains. Jordan, down south of these mountains. And then Syene is mentioned. It's the only location mentioned. It's kind of curious. Syene. And Syene is present-day Aswan. And Aswan is the famous dam on the Nile River in the south of Egypt, not too far from the Sudanese border. I'm going to zoom in so you can get that guy a bit closer up. Let's go down there again slowly. And so the people are going to come from Aswan. That's a very interesting place. It has a huge dam on the Nile River and a lake. And I imagine in the mentality of the time, it would also be the direction of Ethiopia. Further south today, its boundaries and all that it conjures up from Africa. So you have that amazing calling back, gathering the family, which is always a great moment of joy. People not seen for decades. You know, I had the privilege of blessing a couple here, two sisters. There were 5 couples doing marriage renewal, or 4, and there were 2 sisters who they're in probably, I'm not sure, they're probably around 70 years. I don't know, I didn't check their teeth. That's what you do to check the age of sheep and horses. So, but these 2 sisters actually didn't know about each other because one had been given up for adoption when her mom was very young. And then that girl eventually discovered that she had a sister and 2 brothers. And so they got together. What a beautiful joy to get together with relatives, to discover our relatives. Second cousins of our parents, our grandparents. We'd never seen them their whole lives, and we discover they exist. And we discover about them coming together, that great joy of coming together. And it's a long way from here to the south of Egypt. And that also brings back all the memory of the slaves, the exodus. Maybe some people got left behind, didn't come out. Maybe some had gone further into Ethiopia. And now they're going to come back. And we're going to be together again. What amazing joy. A future in store. And then the gospel takes it to another level. They won't be coming out of the dungeon. They won't be coming back from faraway countries. They'll be coming out of the graves. Just imagine all our relatives. I only knew 2 of my grandparents, my mother's parents. My dad's father had passed away before he was married. And my dad's mother had died when he was 2 years old in the Great Flu, in that pandemic at the end of the First World War. And so many people died, especially young people at that time. It was so my grandmother and my father's little sister, they died very close to each other. Imagine meeting them. Imagine meeting my great-grandparents. And so many people I knew since I was a child, and people I'd heard about that I don't even remember. One guy was Stephen Hines, and he lived just 2 fields away from our home. And they used to often talk about him, his funny remarks, his lively, his humoured spirit. A bachelor living there on a farm, small little farm, really, really small. And getting to know all the people, Aristotle and Plato, and Peter, James and John and Mary Magdalene, here from Magdala, and Susanna and Johanna, and Moses and Isaiah and Abraham. Imagine coming out of the tombs. They will be called out of the tombs. Imagine the joy of that restoration of humanity. More than a desert coming to bloom. The joy we have seeing all these flowers. People think, sometimes say, "Oh, I don't want to go to heaven for all eternity in the same place. It'll be boring." No, it's going to be incredible. And this is the promise of our faith, and this is the offer. This is the vision. We're going through lots of trials and political tensions in all kinds of countries, and faith tensions and faith communities, self-understanding, issues of rights, of justice, injustice, health issues, economic issues. And all of this is going to seem so nothing to us in that perspective of the opening of the graves. We'll be flying at a completely different level with a completely different view of things. We'll be enjoying like we cannot even imagine, what eye has not seen or ear has not heard. The message of hope is so important. It's a very big factor of life. And it's a good factor also during Lent, as we head more towards Holy Week now. Transforming. Hope is transforming. It lifts us up above the pains of the moment, the pressures of the moment. Hope shows us that there's going to be breathing room. It gives us breathing room. And all the pressures, all the tensions. Happy calf there wagging his tail as he suckles away. In time of favor I answer you, this is Isaiah. On the day of salvation I help you. I have kept you and given you as a covenant to the people, to restore the land and to allot the desolate heritages. Saying to prisoners, come out, to those in darkness, show yourselves. Along the ways they shall find pasture. You see, pasture for the animals. In this Bedouin society, biblical times, migrant herdsmen herding their sheep, their goats, some cattle maybe, looking for pastures, looking for water. Along the ways they shall find pastures, and every bare height shall their pastures be. They shall not hunger or thirst, nor shall the scorching wind or sun strike them. This is speaking with the language of the present experience. This little calf is coming up close here. We're about, let's say, about 3.5 meters apart. Some shall come from afar, from the north and the west, and from the land of Syene, Aswan. Sing out, O heavens, and rejoice, O earth. Even if there's no sunshine today, even if there are tensions, even if there are difficulties. Sing out, O heavens, rejoice, O earth. Break forth into song, you mountains. Break forth into song, you mountains. If the children don't cry out, the rocks will speak. For the Lord comforts his people and shows mercy to his afflicted. Can a mother forget her infant? So don't say the Lord has forgotten me. Can a mother be without tenderness for the child of her womb? Even should she forget, I will never forget you. And we have that Psalm 145, the Lord is gracious and merciful, compassionate toward all his works. Even the little flower of the field is dressed more beautifully than Solomon. Even the birds of the air that don't harvest or or sow or till the soil. The Lord is compassionate toward all his works. The Gospel reading is only chapter 5 of John's Gospel, but it's an extraordinary conversation about the Father and Jesus' relationship with the Father. There's so many things to see there, to read, to ponder. The hour is coming, amen, I say to you, and is now here, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God. And those who hear will live. Hear, that big word in the preparation of God's people. Listen, hear. Shema. Listen to my word. Do not be amazed at this, because the hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice and will come out. People, what a gift to be here, to be connected with you from afar, from Southeast Asia, from the west of Americas, from Northern Europe, from South Africa. See you later, alligators. God bless you.